Okay.
Happy Friday, people. So I just wanted to take a moment to say thank you for stopping by. This is the Business Squad, a piece of us. We're missing a few other members. They're out and about making things happen because it's Friday and that's what they should do on a Friday. I want to give you guys a concept description of what we have and what we're doing. And by the way, I hope you're all settled where you are, somewhere comfortable and fun and able to relax and grab yourself a beer or wine or bourbon. We're a bourbon family in this house, but whatever suits you, right? We don't hate too much. Bourbon. And anyway, so we'd like to take the chance to explain to you a little about who we are, what we do, and why the Business Squad was created. So the whole purpose of the Business Squad is to help the entrepreneur be a better entrepreneur. Most of the time, when an entrepreneur started their business, they had no idea that there was an onslaught of all this other stuff. Taxes, payroll, legal compliance, benefits, all the healthcare law. I mean, seriously, you could get lost in that. Let alone financial efficiencies that have to be created, retirement plans. I mean, you should have something, right? So all of that is the messy part of being a business owner. So our job is to help you make all of that easy. We're going to roll through that like a hot knife through butter. We take care of that for you so you don't have to. And then in turn, you get to be the entrepreneur. Go sell, do whatever you got to do. Be the best at whatever it is you're doing. Maybe you make a widget, maybe you have another service, you're the next Uber, whatever it is. That's what you do, and that's okay, and we'll help you do that better. So with that being said, I want to do a roll call and have everybody introduce themselves, just so you can get an idea of some of the members of the squad. So my name is James. I'm the financial guru at the squad. My job is to help you with the numbers, help you squeeze them, pinch them, make them feel happy and nice. One of the other aspects of it is I'll help you also with the retirement plans that you want to put in place. Maybe it's you want to do a SEP or a simple or whatever it is to help your employees save for their retirement. I'm going to help you make sure that that's a plan that works for you and your company. And maybe it's something that isn't right now, but it might be something later. And we'll go over that and explain that and make sure it's a good piece for you. Okay, who wants to go next?
I'm Ben. I'm the legal eagle. I'm an attorney. I do business law. I do a little bit of healthcare law, some insurance stuff, anything else. And what makes me stand out is that I'm an attorney that tries to model my services towards exactly what James was saying. Try and find ways to not do hourly billing so that you're not thinking, all right, am I going to do this myself, or am I going to have my lawyer do it? What am I going to do? Try and come up with a way that you can just say, all right, here you go, Ben, take care of it. I'm going to go do what I got to do. Thanks, John.
Thanks, Ben. I'm John. I'm the benefits guy, and I'm with Kokopelli Financial, but we're focusing on the Business Squad and what we can do for our clients. And my job here with the Business Squad is to represent our clients with their search for the right group benefits, health insurance, long-term care, disability. And with us or with myself, you're not just a number. It's a relationship that we build with our clients to make sure that, if we can anticipate their needs, we're responsive to them right away. So with us, I think you're going to get a real nice, comfortable relationship. So,
yeah. I'm James. I am your local neighborhood payroll guy, I guess. My company is called Payroll Vault. We specialize in cloud-based payroll software for small and medium-sized businesses. And what we try to do is take a real close, personal, consultative approach to building relationships with our clients, and focus on a very local area, like not many other payroll providers really do. So we can take that burden of payroll tax and that burden of weekly tax payments away from the entrepreneur, so they can focus on their business, and we'll focus on paying our employees. So,
my name is Dave. I'm a CPA. I'll help you with your tax and your accounting issues. One of my specialties is helping people who are in trouble with the IRS, but we like to make sure you don't get there. But if you need,
Amen.
yeah,
make sure you don't get in trouble with the IRS. But I help you with all those needs and allow you to run your business the way you should be, and then we go from there.
awesome.
Thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
there you go.
So, folks, one of the things we want you to understand, this is our first episode, so yay, welcome. You're part of the first one of millions to come, or at least 100,000 episodes. But one of the things we're going to do, we're going to have a segment each week, and in that segment, it's called The Pulse. And the idea is trying to get a pulse of current news and events and how it relates to you as an entrepreneur and small business owner, and some of the impacts that it may make on your business or decisions and so forth. And so this week, our editor-in-chief for all of our content, which is Carol, which she's out there watching us in cyberspace somewhere. So, hi, Carol.
Words girl.
That's right. Or the Words Girl, as you might find her on cyberspace. That's right. The Words Girl. She gave us some topics to cover, and one of that today is, which is better for the economy, boys, Republicans or Democrats? And go,
Politics,
right?
Politics, the first episode.
That's right. We got to get it out, right? You're not supposed to talk about religion, politics, and what you made.
We can do religion next week, I guess.
That's right. Next week we'll do religion. That's right. That's right. We'll really get that fired up. But history says that Democrats actually are better for the economy.
Statistically.
Well, but that's not what matters.
But theory, I totally agree with you. Theory, obviously, if you go to college or take any economics class ever, tells you that laissez-faire, treatment of Republicans is going to be better for business, and the economy. But reality is,
Statistically.
I should say, Democratic terms have been much better for the economy.
Aren't they set up for prosperity by the Republican administration that came to them prior?
Well, I mean, I guess you could say that, but really, look at the last 16 years, right? The economy tanked at the end of a Republican, 8 years in presidency. Really tanked. I can't think how you could say those policies set up us for a resurgence out of what would be the, second greatest recession we've ever had.
Okay.
Well, I'm going to preface this. I'm not an economics guy at all. It's all way over my head. But aren't there when I hear statistically, right? Aren't there so many other factors and so many things that deal with economic growth? It's kind of a little. I mean,
Here's
I'm
our
asking the
economist.
question. I'm asking the question, right? Can you actually make a meaningful statement like
Allow me to pontificate. Take 100 economists and put them in a room, and you'll have 100 different answers. And the reason being is that everybody that's an economist has the ability to interpret the numbers through their own scope.
Absolutely.
Based on the facts, as I was taught at my alma mater at Northwood, that there are a certain amount of numbers, right, that go in to make the GDP, the GNP, right? So those are the numbers, period. So you can't make it any more than saying that the GDP went up by X or went down by X. That's it. Now, after that, it's everybody's reasons why, but up by X and down by X. For me, politically speaking, I know enough to know that policy does determine economic behavior, period. But policy that's driven to favor one class or group or another will then unfavorably affect the other group, right? So if I'm a business owner of X big business, oil, and I go down to Congress and say, here's a bunch of money. If you run again, but by the way, make some nice policy to help me, and I make nice policy to help, I've affected everybody else, right? So that's where that comes into it, I think, in the grand scheme of it all. Numbers are the numbers, but the political part of it, or the people part of it, make a big difference because they can influence. And that's something Bernie talks about, right? Feel the burn, right?
Yeah.
He's all like, get the money out of politics and help politics be about just the people and all that good kind of kumbaya stuff.
True unbiased regulation, in some sense, is a good thing. I mean, don't we all learn in business school about monopolies and how, basically government regulation needs to break up monopoly because it's not true competition, and, that's some of what government should do.
I agree.
And I can't be laissez-faire on all businesses. I mean,
But could you argue that even governments themselves are monopoly? Because the guy that has the biggest power. You might be up, like my libertarian hat comes out, and I'm like, aha! Look at this.
So
Government bad!
I guess here's my thing, right? So I see that question, what's better for business, Republicans?
That's it, right?
And the thing that pops to mind for me is, without even taking a side, I don't care who it is, right? But they got to know what they're doing.
Sure.
Because as an attorney, when I'm reading regulations, if they're written by somebody who doesn't understand how it works, you can tell right away. I'm going to give you an example, like HIPAA, right? We're all somewhat familiar with HIPAA, the privacy rules. The people who wrote HIPAA in government, and I don't know off the top of my head which party was in office, right?
They all have hands.
But
right?
Well, they
They
didn't
don't-
look at how the system works.
Exactly. They didn't look at how
They
it's going
didn't
to
consider
impact a physician's office. You know, a receptionist sitting behind a desk, right? He's got to get information to a school. It took them a long time to get that streamlined, you know, and that's the kind of stuff
Isn't
that
it-
you need your party in power to understand, so that if they're going to regulate like that,
That's true.
I agree with
it's not, you know. a
Couldn't you argue
crazy
that's what any good engineer and technician or the guy who actually makes it, the machinist would make back and forth, right? Like the engineer says, we can just do this and then it just magically happens.
Right.
And the guy who's got a ability goes, what the, are you serious?
Right.
I can't just make that happen.
Yeah.
Oh, sure you can. You can take over, John. Just go and whatever.
Right.
Well, what do you mean? I can't even, yeah.
Right.
For sure. And I think that's the problem with politicians as a whole, because there's so many that are career based.
Yeah.
They're in it for, 30 plus
Yeah.
years and they're up here in political land wandering around. And they don't even understand anymore,
Yeah, I'm sorry, I'm thinking about the bourbon.
Nothing wrong with that.
What was our secret word?
So it's funny you mention that. It's like, brought it up. So, all right, every week we're gonna have a secret word, and when you hear the secret word, please drink at home. And if you don't want to drink, that's fine too. And around here we're gonna drink. And today's secret word is tear stain.
Tear stain.
Yep, tear stain is
Okay.
a secret word because our CPA spoke about a tear stained letter, and that was before you guys joined
Yeah.
us. So sorry about that. But he brought up the fact that tear stained letters. You write a letter, dear IRS, I'm sorry, and all that good stuff. So that's the magic word. And what did I say? Tear stain. So I've said it now like 3 times. Great,
Uh-huh.
yeah,
Well.
great, yeah, great. Cheers, boys.
Only if you want to.
Hey, we don't force it.
It's
all good. That being said, so there's some financial impacts, right, to all this kind of shenanigans. I mean, you can look at, right now in the election cycle, it's affected the markets in the past, and right now we're seeing some serious effect actually. If you look from where the market was to where it is today, I mean, you've seen what 2,000 plus point fall off on that.
Yeah.
20, it's down today too, wasn't it? I didn't see
Yeah.
it close, but
No, but since the beginning of the year you're talking about, right?
yeah.
Okay, so.
Well, I know it opened this
6%
morning down over 100 and something points this morning. It was down this morning. I hadn't followed it at the close today, but
I don't have the energy to follow it daily. Does anybody here, really take the time to follow it daily?
Other than the
Yeah,
financial
I'm sure
bureau
we'll
over
tell
here, I'm not sure.
honestly,
You know,
and I didn't even today to the
Yeah.
end of the business day. I mean, and that's the thing with so what do you do, right? Like if the election cycle affects it all, where's the safe haven?
well, I mean, I think that on an investment standpoint, what you have to look at is, there's always volatility in the market. You need to take a long-term view on it. So in an election year, you're going to get a lot of uncertainty because there's uncertainty about who's going to take over. So that's going to affect the market swing. I mean, it's just
A long-term
that's
view,
the fact of the
including an
matter.
exit strategy.
Sure.
When
absolutely.
indicators indicate you're
Going down.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, and that's some articles say you're looking that way now, but I think that the important thing is that you have a portfolio that can hedge against all different types of.
Didn't like the S&P
volatility.
test the bottom and break it, and now it's twice in a row or something, and so that indicates the bear market has already begun.
Yeah.
Well, part of the technical end, right? So we don't want to get too technical. It is Friday, so bear with us for 1 to 10 seconds. And it's a technical moment, but just for those of you who do and don't know, a bear actually has a 3-legged step down, right? So just like a bear might go 1, 2, 3, the markets do the same. That's why it got called a bear. Where a bull is like a bull charges up. A bear is 1, 2, 3 strikes. We've had the first swing of the claw down already. Those experts at large with better pay than me argue that there's another swipe coming, but that swipe will be deep and hard because we've been so long on our curve of the mean. So I know, again, Friday series talk, one more point. It's called returning to the mean. Google it. Don't think about it now. Just Google it. Figure it out. But it's returning to the mean, and that's what the market always does. And that's why your average investment guy says, the market always averages 10%. Well, okay, you're right. Average 10%. But when it doesn't average, it wants to return to that mean of the average of 10%. That means you got a long run up. It's going to have a very sharp correction to get back to that 10% average, right? So the market's due for that because we've had a long period of running up,
Yeah.
and we haven't had the return to get us
Quite
back to
quickly,
the average.
actually. in
That's right,
consideration.
relative. That's
Yeah.
correct, right? So for us, statistical people, if you're by the numbers, we're due. We're due for a whack on the head with a stick, which is not something you want to have happen. But yeah, so I think financially, where you might hide, I don't think there's a lot of places to be quite honest. Because when stuff gets dicey, you also like the Fed. I mean, you got the whole interest rate stuff coming online.
Yeah.
That's a consideration.
We'll
I
see
mean, I
what
don't.
happens.
Did you guys see what happened with Japan? Japan is their banks are paying people to borrow money, and they
Really?
can't get people to borrow. They're at such a negative.
Really?
Yeah, they're in a negative interest rate environment. They can't get people to borrow money because people are like, I'm not borrowing nothing. I'm going to keep it all locked up.
What's the point? I mean, I guess that's way beyond me again. You know, why would they? Why
Japan
would
has had
they?
a very long-term, basically zero to
Deflationary.
small amount of economic growth or GDP growth.
And I bring it up because as the small business owner, you're like, why the hell are we talking about Japan? I'm going to tell you why. Because credit matters when you're a small business owner. Try to figure out how to keep your business going without the bank loan float that you have as a small business. And when banks get wonky because of their ability to keep their ratio to borrow, that gets screwed up. Guess what happens? Your credit rules change overnight. And they're like, all of a sudden, they're calling you on your loan, and they're like, make good, or we're going to sell your assets, or make good, or we're going to send a bank examiner in to sit inside your office and help you work it out. Those are none of the things you want owning your business. But that will happen when the credit markets go sideways. So that's back to pay attention to the credit markets, and that's stuff you don't want to do, but that's the stuff that we do. That's the nerd space that we work in. So you don't have to worry about it. You can keep selling your widgets, your dog food, your service.
Because you don't want to have to send your bank a tear soaked letter.
Serious?
Right.
Tears of letter! Ah! Did you give us a tear? Call working that in.
Well, and the other thing too is that when you're planning a long-term project or an expansion or something like that, you need to know what's happening with this stuff, right? Because if you need to take out money to do it, and there's a chance you're not going to do it, or you need to build credit in a certain way, that's where you gotta get this information.
Your capital expansion will hit the skids.
Yeah.
And so, I don't know the size of the business of the people watching, but if you're like a 15 employee space and up, so you're at what they call the micro size and you're about to break out and you want to get your first building or you want to add 7 employees and buy them all their office equipment and all that stuff, this matters.
Yeah.
Because overnight the credit dries up. Just go back and look at some history. Look at 2008.
Yeah.
It took it a year to dry up. It went from lots of money,
To none.
no money, 2 days.
Yeah, and it
And
took
then-
a long time to get money again.
Yeah.
That's right. And a few days past that, and they were calling on assets from people. You can go and look up what happened to Pulte because I was working at the time at Comerica, and the call came, and across the hall was the lender for Pulte, and he had to call Pulte up and say, "Listen, we're calling $1 billion of your loan. You need to find $1 billion of collateral or money." Well, there's a holy shit phone call to get. Find $1 billion, or we're gonna start selling your business for you because we're Comerica and we gotta collect. And that kind of stuff is what happens when banks and the whole things go sideways. That is what you have to be aware of and be ready for. And as a small business owner, you don't have the capacity to absorb a bunch of that. You can't, there's no buffer.
Yeah.
The buffer then is you mortgage your house, or you can't because all the credit markets are screwed. So you can't put your house up to protect yourself if you want to say all in. You can't even do it because the markets went sideways.
Yeah.
So I would tell you, business owners at large, beware,
Plan ahead.
right?
Yeah,
Plan ahead. That's exactly
Save
right.
money. Make sure
Absolutely
you have
right.
working capital saved.
Yeah,
and,
well, that sounds like that's kind of the advice from the politics, right? Is until the election cycle works itself out and you know what's going on, make sure you've got credit. Build assets, pay your bills on time, all that kind of stuff to make sure
Yeah.
that if you need money when the banks are wishy-washy, you've got a solid.
What did all the
basis
big
for it.
corporations do? They're all like, cash.
They wrote tear-stained letters.
Yeah.
Oh!
Got some tear-stained letters,
That's right.
stopped paying dividends, and cut their
Right.
employees' salaries,
John,
and started hoarding lots of
Tear-stained letters.
cash.
Oh, I apologize. Okay.
I'm pretty sure that was part of the Citizens United decision, right? Is that now corporations can actually cry and so they can
Yeah,
submit
for sure.
letters that are tear stained.
Absolutely.
Oh! Tear-stained letters.
Thank you
But
for
yeah.
the reference.
Anytime.
What do you have? Do you have anything to?
Well, I think that the thing now, especially now with the credit markets and anything, it's like with the energy industry the way it is. I mean, Chase and some of these other banks, they, $200 billion may not be enough for their write-off.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah, 200 billion
$200 billion
Yeah.
may not be enough for
to absorb it.
right to absorb what they have. So in essence, at that point in time, I mean, even with the banks, credit's gonna tighten up, you're not gonna be able to get money, and they're gonna start laying people off, and even people in the energy industry, the smaller ones that did,
Sure.
North Dakota fracking, whatever,
Mhm.
there's nothing there. They
No,
can't do
sure.
work.
Mhm.
Makes sense. And I get that. And that's my thing is, there's people that are around here that, they have spouses that work in the energy space. And we have a client actually that's involved in that space as well. And they make the parts for all the tankers and all that stuff. And I always tell people, I'm like, overnight, any of those landscapes can change. Monetary policy, fiscal policy, whichever it is, or even in fact with, monetary policy being interest rates and banks, you just gotta be aware of that. You can't walk around with a block of ice over your head. It doesn't affect me, I do oil.
Right.
Well, it does. It affects you, I promise. It all affects you.
So here's a question, Democrat or Republican, does either one of them have any power really to affect our future? I mean,
No.
really?
None. At the end of the day, as a small business owner, what are they gonna do?
It's a great question. The fact of the matter is, if you talk about statistically, there's all sorts of things that can go in statistically to affect the way the economy
I read the
flows.
brief.
Ultimately, policy does matter, though. I mean, policies that are set by presidents and set by their cabinet members do affect things.
It matters, but it's like a lot of
Wasn't the
right?
consensus of a lot of the stuff that I was reading before we, did this episode, was it's luck.
Well,
It's really
I mean,
the luck
okay.
of the draw.
So I read those articles too, basically saying, oh, yeah, the Democratic presidents have done so well, but they've also been coincidentally, lucked out by having great energy markets and dropping oil prices,
Right.
which helps the economy, But, there's something to be said about possibly their policies have gone into something to affect those policies, that drop. So, I mean, it's about data and the way to interpret it.
More debt, all that stuff.
Well, so
Yeah.
I guess what I would say about it is that without being very careful not to say anything about any particular person,
Yeah,
it
right.
seems to me like there's a recent law that was enacted that didn't go very well, right? When they enacted the law, and the person responsible for that was the person who was appointed as the head of the agency that takes care of that.
Yeah.
And that person happened to be the wife, right, of a major campaign donor. And that is where John's luck comes in, right? Because
Right.
what made the law so screwy is the person that happened to be put in the position. And there is no way that you can tell on election day
Right.
who's gonna get appointed as the department heads of each of the agencies that may have to implement these policies.
Right.
So I think that's kind of where it's.
That's true. I mean,
goes.
absolutely, and that's definitely true. But, yeah, it definitely has some effect. It's not just when you elect a president. It's not just this person's gonna not have any effect on my life or economy for the next 4 to 8 years.
Is there somebody that you would not elect?
Let's,
I would
let's-
not. I would not
Boom!
elect Donald Trump. But that's just.
Boom! Bam! Boom! No Trump to the right. I'm a no Hillary. She's gotta go. That's me. I'm a no Hillary, but it's all good.
I don't even know if it's based on reason, but no Hillary because it doesn't seem right. It doesn't sit right. It doesn't anything right with me.
But if you're a business owner, you should be trying to think, right? All right, who do I think I should elect based on what we talked about, what's happening?
Sure, right.
That kind
Yeah.
of stuff. That's
Yeah, no, I get
that's
it.
how you should
Absolutely.
look at them, and
Absolutely.
not just like.
Well,
who do I think
and that's it.
like-
The arguments to make about Trump, right? That Trump played both sides when he was just Joe Business
Yeah,
guy. He's like,
sure, absolutely.
I'll send money to you or you
Yeah.
or whoever's going to help
Yeah.
my program to build more buildings at the
Yeah.
best price I can to
Right.
sell them and do whatever, right? So
Because
So
we
as
all
a-
vote based on what we think we're going to gain personally, or are we looking
arguably,
for
right?
the best for us as a whole? So
Well, they argue that's it, right? There's no unselfish person, right? Everybody does whatever's in their own best interest.
Yeah.
So as you can figure, folks, we can't solve it today.
Maybe next week.
We will solve it next week. We're gonna talk to our editor and no more politics. Really, who cares? It's all good.
did we learn anything?
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
Yeah.
we learned it doesn't matter.
Yeah. Well, I tell
It
you
doesn't
what,
matter,
for somebody
lay
who
low.
doesn't pay attention to any of this, I had no idea there was a swipe of the clock coming.
Oh,
So
yeah.
that was good.
Yeah.
Oh,
good to
sure,
hear.
absolutely, it does. For sure, it is. So the next segment that we cover is called shout outs, and so we have this whole section on just good things that are happening, things that are going on, and one of them is oddly, which I don't know if you guys call this, but Amazon's actually done a 180, they're going to go now to building bricks and mortars, right? So they killed all these bookstores,
Yeah,
Wow.
and they're like, hey, the bookstores are gone. Oh, but now, by the way, we're going to build some.
yeah.
Yeah,
I don't
you know,
get it.
I don't get it either.
kill my hometown's claim to fame, right?
Yeah, right.
The largest book retailer in the,
Dead.
in the world.
We don't need you.
Kill it.
That's
And
the
then
answer.
start a bookstore.
Yeah.
Borders, right?
Borders,
Yeah,
yeah.
Borders. Yeah.
And I'm sure they're buying the border stores because they're just
Yeah,
Yeah,
probably.
penny.
Yeah.
And then a penny on the dollar, right?
Right, yeah. I'm excited about it because I cannot read like a book on a Kindle or anything like that.
Oh,
But
God.
the question for
But
me
you
is,
can always order the real books now.
Can I
Right.
order-
Right. But
They
I
say
don't
can I
the
know.
order
prices are
something
gonna
from
be the same.
Amazon, on the phone or something like that? Or can I go into an Amazon store and have them take my good and deliver it to my doorstep via drone? Can I do that now? Like,
Oh, so all right. So you bring up right. So one of the other members of our squad, she's our HR specialist, right? She works for a company, and they're working on getting that where there's autonomous drones they're going to bring in and deliver stuff all over wherever, and they're getting their FAA approval, and so that is closer to the world than you think. Because Amazon's been doing a test with it out in Seattle now,
yeah,
where they're like random drones drop off the junk and keep on going. So 247, the proverbial shit's gonna hit your porch whenever
Right.
you want.
yeah.
What
3
happens
a.m., I
when
need
two
some-
roads run into each other?
Well, they're smart enough. They're,
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
they're
Well,
smart
the thing
enough
for
to
me,
do
right, is that when I'm looking for a book, it's not always I know exactly what I want, right?
Sure,
Then it's
yeah.
fine for a drone, but I want to browse sometimes
Right,
and not like come up with search terms that I
Right.
can't. You know, like I want to walk into a bookstore and go to an aisle.
Is that because
Based on
maybe
your
it-
search and preferences, we think you like this. book.
Right.
Yeah.
And
no.
sometimes.
is that
You just
done
wanna
on
look
like
through
the
the
law
fiction
library and
section.
all the
I
years,
know,
the years worth of time spent referencing like tombs of death cases,
Well,
like
I
in
was a-
verses.
I was a classical studies major, so I did like ancient history and that kind of stuff. In my
See?
senior thesis, right, I actually cited a source from like 1912 or something like that. And it's okay to do that because Roman history hasn't changed. So they don't have ebooks from 1912, so you got to be reading it. So maybe that's what
That's it. Yeah. See? You're born from like the days of yore.
Didn't Google go and digitize all those books or something? No?
I think so. I used some of that, but
So his other question was, the Super Bowl.
Mhm.
Does it really matter? I mean, for host cities and businesses. I mean, is there a real impact for the small business owner? You think?
Well, yeah, I think there is an immediate impact for the small business owner having an influx of cash for a short-term period of time.
But that's only if I sell like a cheeseburger or something, right? I mean,
Well, I mean,
Well, it's
Not
your
necessarily.
entertainment venues.
Correct.
yeah, entertainment venues, hotel industry, retail. People are coming down and buy stuff.
well, should I borrow? Should I borrow some money to, take advantage of that, like leverage? I mean, is it worth it? You think?
Borrow money.
Yeah, like
Well, yeah.
staff up, buy extra goods, and what like go into debt relative to what I can
Oh,
make.
I
or,
would, I would, maybe
If
purchase
you're on
a
the
little
corner
bit of
across from the
inventory.
stadium, yeah.
Depends, but
You know?
yeah. I mean, that's all. There's different things that go into that. I mean, but I think long term, things like the Super Bowl or FIFA, the World Cup,
Right.
how much money did they spend on the World Cup
Yeah.
in Brazil to build stadiums in the middle of the rainforest that are never going to be used again?
Isn't that a
Yeah.
debt they take on for what? What's their return gonna be?
You mean the macaw doesn't want to go play
Right,
a game of
yeah.
soccer?
Well, same thing like with the Olympics. How much more did Russia spend on this?
Or
what
China
was that?
with that crazy stadium they
Right.
built, the eight
Yeah.
stadium or whatever it was.
They
Well,
build
I
these
think
hotels that fall
they
apart
do have
and long.
long-term plans
Yeah.
for how they're going to use them. But I don't know if they're actual this is a legitimate long-term use, or if it's just kind of like, oh yeah, we're going to use this
It's
stadium
clout,
for
and it's a
Little League."
cost that they write off because of the clout or the prestige that they get
But what about
from
the,
it. You
what
know,
about the,
For the Super Bowl,
the
right?
countries that.
I mean, it was here in
that don't
Detroit
have
just a few
another
years
usage.
ago, right? I mean,
Actually, I was reading an article about that today
No, you weren't.
about how 10 years ago when the Super Bowl came to town,
Yeah, it was
there
actually
was
10 years.
great. It was looked upon greatly, and the city was booming, and it was going to be so great. But we went through the economic downturn, and
Sure.
but now Detroit is like 10 times, booming 10 times more. Than it
So
was
they say it's
before.
because of the Super Bowl.
No, not because of the Super Bowl.
Right.
But it didn't hurt.
right?
Well,
I don't
actually,
believe it hurt.
we had a guy that worked for us
We
at
can be able to
Covent that
showcase.
actually leased. He had an apartment down on the river,
Mhm.
and he leased it to Jay-Z of all people.
Really?
No doubt, yeah. He got $15,000 a day.
What?
Yeah, for his place on the river
Wow.
that he leased out. So it's like there's crazy opportunities like that, and
Right.
a micro.
So
And then
he
what did he
rented
do
his
with that money,
apartment
that
to Jay-Z
60
for a
grand?
week and took
Right.
that money and paid for his apartment for like the next
It's
Pay for
kind
the
of,
repairs
he bought
of the
that.
property.
Right. In the condo, we bought it and he paid for it, paid it off of that. But, so there may be opportunities like that too that are born out of it, maybe like some one-off lottery events.
Well, and I
like,
would
you
think
know.
infrastructure improvement too, right?
Sure.
I mean, when they come in, they wanna make sure that the public bathrooms are nice and the sidewalks are nice and the lanterns and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
So that's got a long term.
And I'd even argue, you could say
If they
that
have a
like any
pro
big
team,
event, right?
they need a new stadium, maybe that helps.
But
Right.
how is that offset, right? Because
Yeah.
the city's actually paying for it, which is not the city,
Sure.
but the taxpayers.
Well,
So does that balance it out?
Well, it's, all right, so you bring it up, yeah. So my wife, she does event work, and she just did ASAE's event. And they came here, and that's like the Super Bowl for event people. Big deal. Such a big deal. And they said, well, what is the economic impact of hosting this for the city long term? They said, well, let's go back and look at the previous cities, one of the other ones. And one of them was New Orleans. And they said New Orleans had, and I want to say over 10 years, there's like a $5 billion impact. And New Orleans is small compared
Yeah.
to Detroit.
Yeah.
So I can
Yeah,
only
but
imagine.
that's an impact because what it showed was, it showcased Detroit, the city of Detroit as a
No,
venue.
New Orleans
for-
though, but this was New
But
Orleans.
I get that, but I mean,
Right.
but it showcased them as a venue for events or
Right, well, correct.
association.
Well, that's what I'm saying is, right? If you didn't know Detroit, or you didn't say they had the Super Bowl in Detroit, which we did 10 years ago,
Yeah.
but you didn't know Detroit, you knew nothing about it other than it was like decay and death and chaos, and then you come for the Super Bowl event, and you're like, oh, it's not as bad here. I didn't die. I went home.
Sure.
Right?
That's true.
Right,
and,
right?
And that's a big
That's
one.
a win, right?
Yeah.
I went home. And
I
for you,
walked
the
down
small
the city
It
of
was
business,
well
Detroit at
received,
night, and
right.
I didn't get shot. You know,
Right.
I mean,
and then the small business owner, you got to find ways to capitalize on that, right? Like you're the one on the corner selling peanuts or I Survived Detroit T-shirts
Right.
or whatever you're doing to like seize that moment, you know. And I think at the end of the day, when you look at stuff like that for, you know, being host cities, you got to be careful. You can't believe the hype that your business is going to
Yeah.
benefit, right?
In the short
You gotta
term.
be like, you know, well, I don't know if it's gonna work for me, maybe, and not get all caught up in the frenzy. I
Yeah.
think because you could probably get yourself in some serious trouble
And
financially, right?
it could also bring in new events, right? I mean, I think that the Final Four is in Detroit now too.
Yeah.
It's been in Detroit, right?
Yeah,
And
sure.
the Big Ten stuff, and then
We're
all
a
came
great
after the
sports
Super
town.
Bowl.
We're a
Yeah,
player in all that.
absolutely.
Yeah, but I
You know,
think
we
I
really
think
are.
that it was the Super Bowl that said, okay, we can do the Final Four there, and we're not going to get people shot,
Okay.
and you know all that kind of stuff. So I wonder if that's like,
Well,
okay,
you
now
know-
it's a viable place for sports.
Just for the record, the rest of the world that doesn't know Detroit, it's an awesome place. It
It's a
really
wonderful
is.
Yeah,
It really is.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
I've lived here my whole life, and I'm still alive. So go me.
I don't know that here is really Detroit.
Well, I haven't lived here my whole life. I've lived here in Brighton, where we are, that fabulous Chinese restaurant you see behind us, and all this other stuff going on. Yeah, it's not Detroit by far, but and by that I mean because it's pretty rural. But that
Who
being
here,
said,
who here identifies themselves when traveling abroad as a Detroiter?
well, I do for sure.
You know.
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
I mean, yeah, we're in the
guess
suburbs,
abroad,
but
If
We're-
I
I'm a
didn't live in Ann
Detroiter.
Arbor, because you know when you travel around, a lot of people actually know where
Yeah,
that
yeah,
is.
yeah. I usually,
oh, you got
I
it
would,
correct.
I actually
you
use
know.
Ann Arbor because I feel like people know you about.
I don't know.
No, well, I'll live in Ann Arbor, but I'll always say Detroit.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with that. So one of the other segments that we're going to cover on a weekly basis is hisses, right? Smooth. And in that space, you know, for me personally, you know, stick with the political theme issues. My boy, my guy, my like dude to get it done for the name of liberty. He's already quit Rand Paul, and just for the record, that sucks because I'm a big, huge fan of his, and he's moved on, so we'll be okay with that. And what it means for business owners, I couldn't tell you other than it's going to be a guy that was a proponent of expanding your ability for freedom to do things for your business. He's not in the game anymore, so it is what it is.
Well,
But
I
I'm
think
sad
it's
because
awesome.
you know he's got the hair, the only hair that can compete with Donald Trump. So you know.
ah.
Well, he's also.
Knock his throw! I like his
You're
throw!
terrible, dude.
I like his throw! No, knock his throw!
I mean, you just took him down because Donald Trump's hair is like, it's not.
Well,
not
it's a
normal.
person. It's a person unto itself, but you know.
Oh, Trump's hair? It's actually, yeah, it's a reserve.
It's actually a fox that sits on the head.
And unlike Mr. Fox, right? I feel like when you had debates that involved Rand Paul, you were talking about things that impacted businesses.
Sure.
Yeah, because he's all about it.
You weren't talking
Absolutely.
about the stuff that.
No, he's not fluffing
shouldn't
politics.
be. Yeah, so
Absolutely
that's
right.
a loss.
It is a bummer.
It's,
It's
it's sad that we don't have politicians who want to talk about actual issues, and he was one of them, so.
Yeah.
You know, I agree with you, Jane.
John Kasich is a good
Thank you
alternative.
so much.
Just throwing that out there.
Ohio.
Look at him.
Ohio. So the other thing is, it's the market, the other swipe of the bear is hanging over the head. Business owner, what are you supposed to do? That kind of thing. And I'll start with that by saying, run, hide, be afraid, the world's gonna end. No, actually not.
Keep your powder dry.
But, right. But I will say though that you need to be careful and make sure that the money that you have in the market can stay in the market, and you don't need it to be as your powder dry or the reserves for your 24 months of carrying capital that you should have sitting around, because if you don't have that reserve capital and then you go and the market corrects and now you got to sell a bunch of your assets off and absorb a bunch of losses and make the IRS mad because they can't get taxes out of you, cut your benefits program, your employees quit, and the payroll guy gets mad because you can't pay them, and it's just horrible. It gets ugly.
No one ever wants to get to Friday and not have enough money to get payroll out the door.
Toughest day of the week.
Well,
Seriously.
let's. What about Dave? What do you have to say? We got some
Right,
large
yeah.
personalities in this half of the room, but I want to make sure that the tax guy can say something about what people.
I got one to jump in.
I'm just taking everything in, but no, it's, I mean, I think even with everything that's going on, it's just a matter of planning. It's figuring out what you have, and you have to make sure at this point in time that the tax issue is not the motivation for your transaction. You take a look,
Really good advice.
you take a look at the transaction and say, okay, is this good for me, is this bad for me, that's fine. But the other thing too you have to look at is that just because the tax ramifications may mean you may have to pay a lot of tax now or whatever, but look at the long run, is it really gonna help you out?
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of people, it's a situation where if they have a transaction, bring it to me. Let's take a look at it. Let's look at the regulations, let's look at the code, let's look at court cases, see what's out there. And then we'll take your best bet, and then if it works and it's fine, then let's go through with it. If not, then, so you spend a little money for research and then that's it.
Yep.
And that being said, we'll move on to the next segment then. How about that? Questions from the field. So normally you guys can tweet us with questions. I didn't tell you where to tweet today because this is our dry run and I don't want a bazillion tweets flying through on my phone that, well, quite honestly, I can't answer because I'd be distracted, right? But eventually, we're going to have you guys tweeting us live questions. So instead, we went out and we solicited some of our clients to get some questions about the lay of the land, things that's concerning them in our individual spaces. And we want to give you some of the answers we give them based on the questions they asked. And I believe, Dave, you said you had one from your client just recently, right?
Right, the one that I had was a situation for an individual tax issue. The client has a son that's 19 years old, not going to college, and wants to know if they can claim him as a dependent. And I said, well, if they're 19 and they're making over $4,000 a year, then at that point in time, you can't claim them as a dependent and they're on their own. But in turn, if the child goes back to college and goes back full time between 19 and 24, then at that point in time, now you can claim them as a dependent.
So what, the benchmark is $4,000, is that what you said?
Right, it's $4,000.
If they make more than $4,000 and they're not a full-time student, you can't claim them as a dependent.
That's
Right,
correct.
in a tear stained letter.
You got
Whoa!
Really? Whoa! Okay, I learned something. I'm gonna have to consider that.
However, the other thing too is this, is that for some people, and I don't know if it works generational, it has in the past, is that sometimes older children will move back home because they don't have a job.
Yes.
All right, now.
Yeah,
at that-
kids.
Right, but anyway, at that point in time, if they make less than $4,000 a year, all right, then at that point in time, yes, you can claim them as another relative as a dependent, and you can get the exemption for them.
Yeah,
Let me ask
but let me just say, it's much better, well, I'm gonna pull back from that.
Let me ask you a question, right? Let's say you've got that kid that works at home that makes more than 4,000, but not enough to bother filing taxes. That's gonna be you gotta make sure that they make like literally no more than 3,000. I mean, is that something the IRS will look at? Like, how much do they make when they get the W-2s?
Oh,
So you gotta be real careful about
Well,
that
yeah.
$4,000.
When they audit you, if they.
Well, that's not even an audit, right? I mean, that's just W-2s they have on you.
Well, it takes a long time for them reconcile those W-2 amounts.
Yeah, they have to match it up, and it usually takes them 2 or 3 years.
Yeah.
By the time it gets done.
So out of nowhere though, you're like, your
Yeah,
kid's
exactly.
gone out of the house,
Possibility.
Yeah,
and you get a letter
You get a
that
letter.
says,
Right,
boom,
Yeah.
doon, doon.
right.
And well, here's 3 years worth of penalties on top of that while we were looking for it.
You really gotta consider though, and I was gonna say this, but there are healthcare needs, the kids' healthcare needs, because if they're in that particular situation, they can do much better, they need a much better healthcare plan with probably no cost to them because they're Medicaid eligible.
Sure, yeah.
At that point, than coming out of your tax return and then being, part of your healthcare plan.
Yeah, the tax benefit for them claiming themselves as a dependent on their own.
It's really far away.
It's probably outweighing what you're getting as a deduction on your tax.
Yeah.
At that point, which is part of the reason they probably set that bar at that level, so. Yeah,
Got it? Well, I know for us, we had a client this week, she asked if she could get a health insurance policy. I didn't laugh at her because that'd be really not nice, but I did tell her that there's an option that she has to actually create a group. And what most people may or may not know is, and John can, right, what's the number?
2 people.
Yeah,
really?
yeah, that's
2
it.
people, you can get down to 2 people and still have a group.
We got 2 groups here.
That's
Right.
it, right? That's what, right, exactly right. So, and she didn't know that either, and her and her husband, they're super healthy, and she's like, I can make my own plan. I'm like, yeah, you don't have to include anybody else. Just the 2 of you, you're both full-time. Nobody else is full-time on your business, and up and running. And she was pretty surprised by that. She was anticipating being stuck because the penalty now is like, what, 2.5% of gross income for the household, right? Which, in their case, well, in their case, their income was like $400,000. And I'm like, you're gonna pay like 10 grand
Yeah.
in penalties,
Just get a.
no
Just
deduction
get a
for it.
plan, for God's sake.
That's what I mean. You could have an awesome plan if you're healthy.
Yeah,
Whether
Yeah.
it's, an individual plan or a group plan, it doesn't matter, they should be able to
Yeah,
afford
right.
that and do
Now, when
that.
you say 2, right, how do you get to be the one? Like that guy said his wife, but they both work for the business, right?
Right.
They gotta be employees.
So you
Yeah,
got 2
employees.
employees, and
You know,
what-
there's a
I
whole
know a
nother,
payroll guy.
there's a whole other
Alright.
topic.
Well, how do you, is it complicated? I mean, how do you
Well, there's a
define
whole other
employee?
topic that and you might be able to help with this, but it's like a 12 or 2015 87 rule or something, and it's about cafeteria plans, 125 cafeteria plans and 105.
This is a very technical moment happening, folks.
No,
Breathe deep. I know we're at the end of the show.
About reimbursement, employers reimbursing employees for healthcare expenses and treating them as pre-tax dollars.
No.
Messy.
Well, the thing is that first of all, you don't want the Department of Labor to come in and audit because they're worse than the IRS. Say that right
yeah,
now.
and
The
and
DOL is worse than the IRS.
I'll tell you about something about that.
Yeah.
They actually just passed an increased budget for the Department of Labor to actually go in and do audits.
Right.
And that money this year,
Bastards.
which the Department of Labor audit
Dirty
passes are like
bastards.
very, very, very rare, but you have to get an employee
To complain.
complain about you. They're actually passed the budget to do active audits now, so.
Yeah.
So they don't you don't have to have someone complain.
So if you have
They might come
1099
into your
people,
business and
be
audit you,
careful.
like,
Well, yeah, and the thing too that you have to be careful with is this, if you reimburse your employees for health insurance, all right, first of all, without going into a lot of details or whatever, a lot of times people will just the employer will write them a check for their
Right.
premium
Sure.
because it's cheaper than,
No, we do it.
That's
We-
super
we-
illegal.
We
That's
protect
super-
our clients with
Not a little,
a
that's super
third-party
illegal.
administrator
Right.
that manages it. We've done this for small groups, but this just came out and we're waiting for clarification on it, that not even that's gonna be allowed, using the third-party administrator, doing it all, on the up and up. Now they're gonna even pull that out from us so that it's gonna force our clients, our small businesses to either go with a group or look for some other option. And the only way now that they can do it is this other option I was gonna mention a little later in the segment, but it's to increase their pay.
Yeah.
And have it with post-tax dollars. And there's the benefit of group plans or employer-sponsored plans. All that stuff is out the window, so.
If someone were to come to me and say, I wanna create a deduction, or I wanna create an employee benefit to pay them for health insurance, or call it this, I would say, you should just consider, a pay raise or
Yeah, that's-
something else,
right, that's
and
the way to do it.
don't classify it as, reimbursement for health.
no, it's just
So
all part of their pay.
here's the takeaway for me, right? You have a lot of.
But then they have to
people
give it
that
to
are-
everybody.
making
Sure,
a
yeah.
decision about whether they're gonna characterize somebody as a W-2 or a 1099, right? I
Sure.
see people who have made that decision all the time. And this is a perfect example, right? Because that decision should be made after talking to James about the payroll, James about the long-term planning, me about the test that can see if you actually are gonna be able to substantiate your decision, John about your health insurance implications, Dave about your tax implications, and all that stuff goes into it. And you don't wanna just say, all right, well, our payroll is better if we make them 1099.
He's marketing the
Right.
business squad.
You know,
You are so smart.
he's not just
Right.
great. He's smart.
Yeah.
I know, because, you know, because the thing you look at is that some clients will have, they'll have the W-2, but then the other thing too is that they'll reimburse them, like for the health insurance, it'll be on a 1099. Well, you really can't be a
Yeah.
1099 and a W-2 at the same
Mhm.
time.
Not if you're not performing a different act.
Right, but I mean, if I'm
If
just,
you can have an employee who's a 1099 employee, you can employ someone
In a
to,
different
let's say,
capacity.
be a lawyer in my
Yeah, I
business
guess
and
it's-
clean my office on the weekend, and I get 1099 for that activity.
right,
As long as it is substantially
Yeah,
different
that's gotta be
from what
like,
you're being.
it's gotta be like that.
It's a
like
very
lawyer
tricky
versus
rule,
clean.
though. So
but I think you just, I mean,
You're asking for trouble.
You gotta go
though.
through you have to go through the 20 questions that they have for the IRS as to what they have to do. And then if you look at it that way, that's fine. And sometimes, I know I say this, it's not a cliche, but you know, I mean, I can be consulting to the point of being insulting, then I have to stop. But I mean, you can tell these people only so many times that this is the
no,
wrong way.
absolutely, yeah.
No, but it's so much easier for them as the employer. I mean, I was in that the other side of the fence for quite a while, and I did 1099 employees because my business would not function with employees. I couldn't function.
Well, and the other thing too is that it's not black and white a lot of times, right? Because those 20 questions you said, they are not yes or no questions.
Absolutely.
You can have 10 one way, 10 the other way, and then you got a decision to make.
Yeah, but part of the problem is
So-
in the Department of Labor audit, they will err towards employee and not contractor.
Right.
Every.
Well, sure, because it serves them, right? I mean, because
Right.
if they do that, then they can fine, penalty, fine, penalty. Take all that, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a buck of the sock.
And you can't write a tear stained letter on that.
Good call there,
All right, next time you drink it.
counselor. Good call there, Mr. CPA. So, each week, we're gonna have a cocktail as a feature.
Okay.
I don't necessarily have ingredients today for this one,
No, we're not
but
gonna try this.
we're so not gonna try this week. But I'm gonna post the link on the final product when I wrap this up and I put all the stuff to it. But it's a bourbon bacon milkshake.
No.
Really?
No way.
No way.
You never know.
Milkshake and the bacon.
I gotta tell you.
I got my stomach's turning.
Whenever
I think the
hear-
mouth's curdling.
Whenever I hear bacon linked with liquor, I can think to this time in college when we had bacon vodka shots that the bartender gave us for free.
All
I
right.
tell you, I figured out real quick why they gave them to us for free.
Forget
that one.
All right, Carol, you hear that? No more bourbon bacon anything, Carol. And shouts to you. Bourbon bacon's out. Yeah, I don't know. For me, I'm willing to give it a shot once.
I would
Make
give
one.
anything a shot. Wow.
Yeah, right. I mean, how bad could it be? I mean, bourbon, win. Bacon, win.
I mean,
Milkshakes. What the-
when I was
Who
in
doesn't love
college and I
milkshake?
turned 19, all my Canadian friends made me drink 19 Prairie Fires. So, you know.
See, all right. I don't even know what is a prairie fire.
A Prairie Fire is a shot of tequila with like 5 dabs of Tabasco.
Oh, okay. Sorry. So I have a friend of mine, and John Jordan, if you're watching, this is to you. He's like, all right, I want you to drink my favorite shot. And he was a carny at one time. Yeah, and it was Rumpleman's, which is a 100 proof peppermint
Yeah.
schnapps product. 6 shots of Tabasco, and then top of the tequila topper. I think it was tequila. Oh, that horrible!
Yeah.
Most horrible thing I've ever swallowed. I might have said razor blades, puree, chug.
Yeah.
It was horrible. But then afterwards, you're like, it's really minty and spicy, and like I don't even know what to do with the flavor because it's like so different. But going down, train wreck on the whole way down. So yeah, I don't
I'm just
know.
gonna throw a legal disclaimer out there, right? Nothing we say about any of this stuff, we're not liable for. You go out and try this stuff, have fun.
Our lawyer has absolved us. He's our priest, and he has said we are guilty of no sin. We have been absolved. Thank you.
Thank you, Ben.
Yeah, right. No, thank you. And so, guys, next segment is we want to cover like just pondering. So, just some general, doing good in the industry at large, and a lot of people out there believe that government has to initiate the doing good. That business is just selfish, like all about me. And, well, okay, we're all about me as business owners. I mean, it's what we do our business, right? We love our thing and we do it. But there's a guy, I don't know if you know, but those little 5-hour energies that are out there, they started actually over in Novi.
Yeah.
Very local Michigan company.
Yeah.
Well, that guy, he said, there's a video on him. It's called Billions and Change. It's on YouTube.
Inspiring.
Oh my God, it's super awesome. And there's little stories like he's, one day I wake up and they tell me I'm worth $5 billion. He's like, so I gave away 95% of it.
What do I do with it?
I mean,
So he thought of ways to do things.
yeah, and amazing the things he's doing. So, do you think that's possible? I mean, him and others, and I mean, where do you think this thing could actually head? You know what I mean? It's pretty crazy.
Oh, I think with prosperity, good things come and people give. I mean, you can only, make so much. And
But don't they say America's
isn't it
the
better to give than to receive?
selfish
Don't
country
you
there
feel
is?
better
Right?
to give than to
Well,
receive?
that's one of the differences, right? And I'm going to be doing some marketing again. I'm just going to throw out that PSA, right?
Woo-hoo! Bring it.
You can be an entrepreneur and start something today, right? That can get you $6 billion. And if you're just like a regular Joe, you're like, what am I going to, like, you give me $6 billion, I would give away at least, well, I got student loans, so maybe just 5. Right? But I'm not.
Law school
But it used to be you couldn't do that, right? You had to come
Right.
from
Sure, money.
You
Old
had to
money.
have, or like you were comfortable with getting $6 billion and finding a way to use it. So I think that's just like a change,
How
in,
much is enough?
You know. and we can help you get to that point.
That's right. God willing, the creek don't rise. I agree with that.
Yeah.
But if you guys get a chance, go out and check out this video. It's
We'll
on
link
YouTube.
it
Billions
somewhere.
and Change. Yeah, I'll throw it in the finished wrap when we do
Yeah,
this
billions and change.
final on this. But Billions and Change, check it out. It's amazing. He's driven himself to solve many of the world's
World
biggest
problems.
Yeah.
I mean,
At least here in Michigan.
yeah.
Just like
If it's
just
not
like
going to benefit people in
Mr.
general, it's not
Microsoft,
interesting.
Mr. Microsoft, and they give away tons and tons.
He does. There's
He
obvious-
still has tons and tons of money in personal.
Well, because it's-
now, but
the cow keeps
Wow.
making milk, right? And that's the same thing with this guy with the billions of change. Like I gave it away, but I'm still selling models.
Yeah.
And the thing is that at the end of the day, all of this stuff, the amount of change, like the media might tell you, booga booga booga, but you can't even see the amount of changes coming for all the different ways it could happen.
Mm-hmm.
So even us as business owners, we're and we live in our own little pocket. Like this is my world, and I live in it. And I get caught up in it, and I get afraid, and the world's going to end, and my kids are going to have a life 5 times worse than mine, and fear just grabs you and shuts you down. Psh, just watch that story, Billions and Change. It's just one story, one guy doing his one thing.
He's
Can't
doing many
imagine.
things, but it all stems from one guy.
in reality, is
amazing.
you only
One
pass
attitude.
so much money down to your children anyways. Before
Well, right.
Yeah, too much money ruins him anyway.
True story. All right, so before we wrap up and close, tip of the week. So we're going to start. Yeah, we'll start with you, sir.
So with me?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. Tip of the week. This is kind of interesting. I had a friend of mine come to me recently who realized when she got her W-2 this year that she, well, let me preface this by saying she's a remote employee. She works in Michigan. Her employer is in Kentucky. Okay. When she got her W-2 this year, she realized that all year her employer's been withholding Kentucky withholding for her. Okay. Now this is a problem. Okay. Most people who get direct deposit never look at your check stub. So tip of the week number 1 is at least look at your first check stub. But tip 2 is, and this is for business owners, there's this dirty little word in the tax industry called nexus. Okay, nexus is a very interesting thing. Traditionally, nexus means basically whether or not you are liable to pay and withhold taxes in any given state. Okay, and traditionally, you needed to have a physical location in a state in order to have nexus. This is no longer true. In most states now, if you have employees or remote employees that live and work in another state, you automatically have nexus in that state, at least for withholding. and you might also have sales and use tax nexus there as well.
Oh, yeah.
So think about it, and now
You know,
is
what's
the day.
Nexus mean though? I mean,
Like I said, nexus means you as an employer have a responsibility to that state to withhold and pay
And collect their taxes.
and collect.
but for the
tax.
employee
It's,
though,
so
what's
it's,
the employee?
Well, for the employee, the employee's responsibility is basically this individual who called me and said I have a Kentucky withholding on my
Right,
taxes.
yeah, right.
I said you need to call your employer right now and tell them they need to start withholding and paying Michigan taxes for you. She now is in the situation where she needs to file a Michigan tax return for all of her Michigan income because it's taxable. She needs to file a Kentucky non-resident tax return because she paid taxes there. She'll get money back from Kentucky. She'll get a credit from Michigan for paying all those taxes. But it's a huge rigmarole, and you're going to pay somebody like Dave a bunch of money to do your taxes. Okay?
Dave's like, that's fine.
Yeah, absolutely.
Actually, there might be penalties involved too for
Yeah.
underpayment of tax.
Sure, there could be. Luckily, Kentucky is one of those states where you pay between 2 and 6%, and she's on the high side of it. So I said, "You're on the high side of it. We pay 4.5% here in Michigan. You're probably going to get a credit refund. It's not going to be that big of a deal, but it's a big hassle. Call your employer and tell them that they are in the wrong. And honestly, the employer could get in a lot of trouble
Yeah.
for not actually doing it. So if you're out there, you're thinking about remote employees, you're hiring someone in a different state, Nexus is something you need to think about, and you should consult a professional to help you deal with it.
At the business spot.
At the business squad.
No, we're not
absolutely.
business squad, we're just,
I guess the thing I look at right now is that things that are coming down from the Internal Revenue Service, they're gonna be like the state of Michigan, they're gonna start hiring third-party non-government employees in collections. Well, the issue with that is going to be is that a lot of times when they do this, they know nothing about tax law, all they wanna do is collect
Get the
money. So what you have to do is that if it's a situation where you think that you may have an appeal right, then at that point in time, what I would do is this. You have an appeals right with the Internal Revenue Service and file the form for collection due process hearing, so you can go sit and talk with somebody face to face who is with the IRS
And actually know something about taxes.
and actually know something about taxes. And then at that point in time, the other thing too is that if granted a power of attorney and I go down there, then what I usually like to do is I like to go by myself. The reason being is this: I was at a collection due process hearing once before, and the client decided he wanted to go with me. We were looking at about a $3,000 a month payment on an installment agreement. He opened his mouth and it went up to 5.
Wow.
So at that point in time, that's why, I mean, things with the IRS, but especially with if they're gonna start outsourcing all this stuff, then you have to be aware and you gotta be careful, and then you have to hire a professional to go down and deal with them.
yeah, represent it, don't say anything.
And I'm
Yeah.
sure that I'm sure that these third-party people are required to give you notice that they're not actually with the IRS, but if you get an audit thing, check and see, right? Are you directly with the IRS?
Yep.
And they've gotta
Well,
be
this
honest.
opens up a huge thing about, like,
But you
for
still have to
example,
speak to them, don't you?
Yeah.
fraud.
Well, yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Now I know that I'm getting calls from non-IRS people talking about my debt. I could get anybody from Russia maybe even calling and saying, "Hey, can I have all your
Can you
information?"
tell them to check the
I'm
operating?
not the IRS, I'm not with the IRS, right?
Right, no, the state of Michigan has that now for their Michigan accounts receivable
Yeah.
collection, they're a third party
Yeah.
outside.
Yeah, Medicare's done that for a
Yep.
long time. They have third parties do it.
Wow. Anybody else? Anything else for the week, Ben?
Oh, yeah, sure.
Yeah.
So my tip, right, was
Yeah.
if you're an LLC, right, your
Mhm.
annual statement is due February 15th.
Filed my
Most
last
people
one.
did it, yeah, most people did it when they first came in the fall. So I filed my annual statement, I think yesterday, right, just went online, did it, filed it. And I paid the $25 fee, and then as I was kind of putting out content to remind people about it, I realized, wait a second, I'm a professional limited liability company, I should have paid $75. What's going on here? Turns out that their online filing system, right, I filed the right articles and did everything right my end, had me as a limited liability corporation and not a professional limited liability corporation. Not my fault. I don't know that I could have really been responsible for that extra $50 payment, but I gave him a call, spent 10 minutes on the
What's
phone,
the
paid the
difference?
$75 and paid it off. And so now I know, all right, I'm all squared away.
So what's the difference?
What's the difference between a PLC and an
So a
LLC?
PLLC is for people that are one of the learned professions, right?
Oh,
And that-
special guys.
Yeah, so Dave's a PLC,
I'm a
attorney,
PLC.
I'm a PLC, financial, I think sometimes.
Doctors.
Yeah,
Yeah,
doctors,
yeah,
that's
doctors,
common under that.
Got it.
But what I would say is, if you're a Michigan corporation anyways, if you're a corporation someplace else, they've got their own website.
Yeah, right,
But
that's
go
right.
to Laura's website, do a corporation search, Find your corporation, look at the information, look at the address, look who the agent is, just look at everything and make sure there's nothing wrong, because it can save you a huge headache down the line.
Yeah.
Just a quick search.
Right on. And you have anything else you want to add? before we
I just
close?
want to go back to what we talked about earlier, but it's plan ahead for the small business owner and particularly with their group health insurance. If you have been paying like a reimbursement through a third-party administrator, which has been perfectly legal up to this point, and that can be argued whether it's legal or not, but the third-party administrator we've used guarantees, it gives us an odd guarantee, and they'll back that with paying any levied fines, but that's going to change based on the information that we've received. And what was the quote from Other People's Money?
Oh, my boy, Danny DeVito in that?
Yeah.
And he's like, it doesn't matter how you change the rules, it changes how we play the game.
Okay, so we have to change how we play the game. And a lot of people, a lot of small businesses are moving to level compensation plans, which if you give us a call, we'll be happy to explain them. But what it is, it's like a hybrid between self-insured with a stopgap insurance policy that limits what it can
Don't
cost
get too
the employer.
technical. Close of the show.
But
We can help.
Call
but
John.
We can help.
absolutely, but we can still save considerable dollars in premium and improve benefits.
That-
So there you
That
go.
sounds all right to
What's
me.
it cost to call you, John?
Oh.
Nothing
Is
to
that
start.
zero? It's
Zero?
Wow.
Zero. Yeah.
I bet you anybody in the squad would probably give a free
Yeah,
phone
zero.
call of zero, yeah.
Zero.
So if you guys Google us at the Business Squad, you'll find all of our information, the phone number, everything else. And I would tell you, for my tip of the week, it's pretty simple. If you fail to plan to fail. Pretty simple. Nothing else to worry about beyond that.
I do have one more tip.
Oh, wait a
One
minute.
more
Yeah, go ahead.
A tear soaked letter never hurts.
Oh, but we're out. We're out. There's nothing in there.
Oh,
Oh, out.
We'll finish it.
Well, that being said, I hope you guys have a great weekend. Thanks for tuning in. Hope to see you next Thursday, not Friday. We're going to change our date. Friday was the kickoff, the dry run. But here on out, we're going to do them on Thursdays. So hopefully catch you back then. On that note, this is James, your financial guru with the rest of the squad. And thanks for tuning in, everybody.
Thanks
Bye.
for
See
watching.
ya.
If you're
Bye,
watching
guys.
this as a recording, right, it's going to be available as a recording. Thanks for
Yeah,
watching.
absolutely.
This is the first one again. If you're watching this in 3 years, and now we've got a professional studio and backdrop and all that.
Yeah.
What the heck?
You can
That's
turn us
right.
off.
That's right.
Jamie.
Yeah, and on that note, James is going to
All right,
close.
let's turn it off.
Yeah, just click under broadcast and end.